Now, Ukraine is under relentless Russian attack. Kiev hopes for peace is promised by Trump, but the question, of course, is at what price would peace come in Ukraine? Now, Moscow is pretty clear that it will continue its goal of capturing the entire Donbas region, while also asserting that it would not agree to Ukraine joining the NATO military alliance or allowing foreign troops on Ukrainian soil. The question, of course, is this: is peace even a tangible goal, or is it just an illusion for Ukraine? Take a look.
On the battlefield, the Russian forces inch forward relentlessly. Fields, towns and villages are all devastated. In the latest offensive, guided bombs are targeting southern Zaporizhia. Russians have increased the ferocity of aerial attacks, striking Ukrainian cities with unrelenting precision, using drones and missiles. In the Donetsk region, Russian troops are pressing hard. Not just armored vehicles, Russians are also using bikes to move deeper into the countryside. The shelling has been constant, and the Ukrainian forces are facing mounting pressure. Fear grows of a renewed offensive on the Zaporizhia's regional capital. As winter deepens, the suffering Russian attacks on energy infrastructure leave thousands without heat. Yet there is hope that New Year will bring an end to the war.
I think something has to change for the better in Ukraine, because it's the new year and everyone wants everything to change for the better and the war to end, which is the most important thing.
I have nothing to say about Trump at all, because I think all that we must do should be done ourselves, without Trump and anyone else.
Russian citizens also hope the fighting will end, allowing soldiers to return home from the trenches.
My greatest wish for all Russians is for the war to end, for peace to prevail in our country, for everyone to be happy and to love each other.
Of course, we would like the country to finally end SVO. We're very worried about the guys. We want them to come home soon. We're all worried about them.
The hard reality is that the war is showing no clear end. Trump's pledge to stop it within 24 hours stirs skepticism. NATO allies fear the compromises he might demand of Kyiv, while Zelensky's push for NATO membership and strategic guarantees get lukewarm support. For Kyiv, there are vital lifelines. For its allies, they are not yet priorities. As 2025 begins, Ukraine faces harsh realities. Fighting rages, hope dwindles, and the specter of an uneasy peace looms. At what cost will this war end, and who will pay the price? Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
All right, now to give us more perspective on this, we're joined by Mr. John Erath, who's a Senior Policy Director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, and is joining us live on this broadcast. Mr. Erath, thank you very much indeed, sir, for taking time out and speaking to us here on WION. Now, this, of course, is the question that a lot of people are, of course, asking. Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he hopes that there'll be peace in 2025. Donald Trump has said that he knows how to stop this war. But the question, of course, is this: for peace to come about in Ukraine, what price, in your assessment, will Ukraine have to pay?
I think that everyone wants the war to end and for there to be peace. But the question now is, of course, at what cost? And is Russia and Ukraine, both of them, willing to pay the cost for peace? At this point, the answer would seem to be no. It would seem to be that on both sides, the populations have decided that the costs of ending the war right now would be worse than continuing. When that changes, I think we will see rapid movement towards a peaceful settlement.
Interesting. Now, considering as to how Donald Trump, the statements that he has made, it appears that he's less than enthusiastic in backing Ukraine in the defense effort that it has put forth. With that being the case, do you expect the Russians to make any concessions if and when negotiations happen for a settlement?
I think the opposite. I think Russia is going to try in the short term to use the perceived willingness of the incoming administration to work towards a rapid peace agreement. And it wouldn't be peace; it would be a ceasefire. I think Russia wants to use that willingness to try to extract the maximum possible concessions from Ukraine. That's how Russians negotiate. They demand the maximum at all times. And so I think that's the strategy that they will follow.
So if the Russians are demanding for maximum possible concessions from Ukraine, a lot of Donald Trump's critics would say that he's effectively urging Ukraine to surrender to Russia. Can Donald Trump, get into a situation where the peace plan that he has effectively looks like a surrender of Kiev?
I think that's very much what the Russians would like to do. They would like to put him in that predicament, where in order to achieve what he says is a rapid peace settlement, it requires his ally Kiev to make the maximum possible concession. So that is very much the Russian strategy.
So what would be the face saver in your assessment for Ukraine and the United States of America that has been backing this war? Will there be a face saver for Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump, who's taking charge at the White House?
It's not so much a question of saving face. It's a question of maneuvering the right way and not being caught in a trap of one's own making. Obviously, the thing to do would be for the United States to propose some reasonable conditions whereby talks toward a ceasefire could commence, and leave it to Russia to say no. In that case, I think everyone walks away with the situation no worse than it is now, and the path is open for when the circumstances are right to achieve a peace agreement relatively easily.
Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. John Irath, for joining us with that perspective then.
You're welcome.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.